Welcome to Nestle Next Level Digital, a podcast where Nestle reimagines digital transformation to the next level as the world's largest food and beverage company using the power of food innovation to enhance lives. If you're new here, we invite you to discover Nestle through the lens of our leaders. Each episode presents valuable insights on our digital initiatives in driving growth and sustainability as we make an impact for everyone today and for generations to come.
All right, welcome Yasser to this very special edition of the Next Level podcast. We're so lucky to have you with us today. My name is Abigail Lorson. I'm our host for today. I'm the Director of Marketing and Consumer Communications for Nestle for the Middle East and North Africa. I would describe myself as a change maker. I'm someone who loves change. I love driving change and being a part of change, which is why when Nestle called and when we had our interview, I was so excited to join your team and your organization and to be a part of the massive change and transformation that you're driving for Nestle in this region. I would really describe you, our esteemed guest today, as a fellow change maker, but truly a maverick and a real driver of transformation. So our guest today is Yasser AbdulMalak. He's the chairman and CEO of Nestle in the Middle East and North Africa. We're an organization of 14,000 people, 2,000 of which actually are youth that we've just hired in the last 2 years. We're adding that to our diverse talents from over 70 different nationalities across 19 countries. So thank you so much for being here today, Yasser. I described you as a maverick or sort of a real driver of change and driver of transformation. And I'd love to start the interview just by asking you how that sort of part of your personality came to be and what you believe really made that such a big part of who you are today.
Thank you, Abigail, and what an introduction. I'm humbled with your with how you, if you want, express how you feel about this, and I'm so happy to have you on the team. To be also on the forefront of the change we're trying to drive. I would say everything that what we are today is shaped by multiple factors. I'm going to focus on a couple just to help really elaborate this. Number one, I believe personally I have a high sense of curiosity and this mindset of challenging status quo, not for the sake of challenging but really always asking the question, can this be done differently? Can we do it faster? Why does it have to be so slow? Could this be, if we do it different, a different result and so on? So that's part one. Yeah. The other part is really over the past 25 years in my career in Nestle, across the many worlds of Nestle where I have been, I've been really blessed with great leaders and colleagues and teams that have also helped me open the way for me to be myself, really accepted me as I am, encouraged me to continue to think differently, encouraged me to take calculated risks and be responsible for what I do. Yeah. And really in Nestle as a company, it's a culture that we embrace change, drive inclusivity, diversity, and innovation. And I believe that's what kept Nestle going for the past more than 150 Absolutely. Years. Yeah. Now, you complement this with what's happening externally, and above all, all the technological disruptions that have been happening recently are really faster and that's a fact. And in fact, the best revelation we can have is when we acknowledge that change or disruption is a fact and is going to continue. But to disrupt or be disrupted is a choice we need to make every day. And I think that acceptance of the situation puts you in a situation where you see that driving change is a necessity, but even if it is not a necessity, sometimes you need to choose to drive change to stay ahead, not only to cope with the change that is happening externally. Yeah. So add to this that we are also blessed to be in a region where we're like in many of the region here, in many head offices, but take, for example, the UAE, Dubai, or Riyadh offices, where you have these two cities that are not only embracing but leading change across many fronts, including the digital transformation that is happening. So all in all, it's really fascinating, and I believe really at the heart of it is your acceptance that change is a fact of life. Yeah. You want to drive it. You have the team that is also ready and open for change, and I'm so happy with the team in MENA that is really eager and hungry to be better and to do things in a different way. So all in all, I think that's what really makes it what it is today.
No, I couldn't agree more. And thank you for sharing that. And I think there's so many different elements to it, but really being sort of at the core of choosing to disrupt and choosing to drive change is a really big part of, you know, your leadership style and also the team that you've assembled. You know, maybe building on that a little bit, if we think about this idea of driving change, which you talked a lot about, could you maybe share with us, you know, what is one change that you're currently driving within, you know, Nestle that is maybe the most complicated, the most kind of thorny and difficult? What's one change that's really big on your agenda that's exciting, but also maybe a little bit scary at times?
Yeah, you know, I always say that while change is imminent and it's important to stay ahead of your game, any change creates some butterflies in your stomach at any level you are. Because with change comes uncertainty. You're not always sure how it's going to work. As long as you are clear on it's not really only embracing new ways of doing things, it will impact everything everybody does. So it will impact all our processes. It will impact the way we do things. It will impact the way we review things. It will impact the way we develop capabilities amongst our people. It will also impact the way we hire and attract new talent into this. You're a great example for that with your background. So it's really, it touches almost everything we do. So by design, it's one of the biggest change we're doing. Yeah. Now, if you look at change in a way that when you accept it and when you embrace it, you start to see the positive side of change more than the butterflies I spoke about or the challenges. You start to see really the positive side of that. On the positive side, just think about it that in today and in a couple of years from now, the time we used to spend to put data together, to analyze the data, will be done. A good example, look at what happened since 2019 till now in the speed of e-commerce. E-commerce, the consumers, it's a fact that today consumers are also looking into shopping online. And hence everyone had to really adapt fast. And I'm really proud of the team, how they have managed to set up the strategy for e-commerce, not only to be present, but also to continue to lead in the way we are present, in the way we engage with shoppers and consumers and so on. Across many other fronts, we also have great examples in operations, in our factories, in basically being able to access data in a much faster way.
Absolutely.
So all in all, it's I would say this is amongst all the change we are doing, this change touches us in so many ways, but it also opens a lot of opportunities that we even continue to excel and be a better version of us, for us to really exceed expectations of consumers, not only meet it.
No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. And I love that reframing of, you know, the change that we're going through and the investment that we're making in it and the difficulty. If we focus more on the positive versus what's challenging, then you really start to see the opportunities, and that's sort of where we can get people excited. So we're going to spend a lot of time in this podcast talking about digital transformation. That's one of the main, that's the main theme of our conversation today, and really talking about Nestle's journey globally around digitalization and digital transformation. But before we go deep into that side, which I know we're already excited to do, I wanted to hear a little bit more from you about your ambition for Nestle in the Middle East and North Africa. You're obviously in the middle of driving a lot of change, as you've been describing. But, you know, I know when we've discussed it in the past, I've been so inspired by your ambition for what you want to do with this company in this region. So tell us a little bit more about your ambition and sort of your vision for what you really want to accomplish with Nestle in MENA.
You know, when you look at the region in MENA, this is a fascinating region of 500 million consumers, a young population. 47% of people in MENA are young, median age 22 years. This is fascinating. This is quite unique, and hence we decided as a leadership team with all our colleagues that, you know, we want to really set our eyes on the moonshot of doubling the business in MENA. Now that means in few years' time, we're going to create another MENA. So I know that gives us a little bit of butterflies, but we always say if your dreams and ambitions don't create this, then it's not bold enough.
Absolutely.
And if you think about it, in this region alone, e-commerce by 2025 will be around $49 billion, just to give you a few facts and numbers. And you realize that the opportunity is big, but also at the fact that digitalization is at the heart of this ambition to double our business. If we don't embrace it, it will be challenging to really move forward. So that's more an enabler for us, not only to double, but to continue, as I said, to exceed the expectations of consumers and really be a driving force for good in the whole digital transformation that we drive. So doubling the business, digitalization in everything we do, end to end. So we're talking about from sourcing to manufacturing to logistics, supply chain, demand planning, sales planning, sales reviews, dashboards, marketing. Across the board, it will be digitalized. And that will enable us to be closer to the consumer as we move forward, for us really to make this dream materialize, hopefully in the few years to come.
That's such an exciting vision and ambition. So maybe picking up a little bit on what you've been describing in terms of the ambition and also the role of digitalization, maybe to make it a little bit more concrete for our listeners, could you share with us a few examples maybe of the change and the digital transformation that you're driving in this region that you're really proud of, or things that have stood out to you in terms of some clear examples of that digital transformation that you're driving?
Yeah, we have already started. The team already had, you have a digital native team anyway. Today, we know it from our children. We know it from the way we live. Being digitally native is today common. So we are blessed also with colleagues that bring their digital passion into their operation. I have a great example where in the UAE factory, in our beautiful KitKat factory, one of our colleagues, Mark Petalana, developed an application where basically everybody on the lines have access to the skills required for them, and that is also accessible by their supervisors. So in a way, your personal development and what trainings you need are kind of captured on this application, which facilitates really the engagement, the discussion on what skills I need and so on, and it's accessible also by the team that are supervising these colleagues. This is one amongst other, but I want to also share with you how I believe this would be in the future. And I just touched on this a little bit. Today, any non-digitalized company or team, think about data analytics and artificial intelligence and how you put all this data together. Instead of you spending a lot of time collecting this, this data is kind of through AI and data analytics analyzed, gets to you with a dashboard that is very clear in your area, whether you are in procurement, supply chain, whether you are in a factory, whether you are in sales, marketing, in any function, you have access to data faster and you have access to much more data. And hence your ability to make faster decisions and more accurate decisions is enabled. And think about also what we say, that we want to be externally centric and closer to the consumer, and we need in these days to be more agile in our decisions. So the fact that we are a big company should be an advantage and an opportunity, not a reason why we don't move fast. On the contrary, we will move faster, we will make faster decisions, and the data and the information would be available to all the people that need it in a press of a button. So hence our future really is so exciting, and we are working on this. So I would say great examples of what is there today, but many more to come in the coming 2 years in this journey that we have.
And maybe just to follow up on that a little bit, what would you describe as sort of the impact that you really see of being able to get to that faster decision making? If you think about the business and what you're trying to drive, what you've described of being able to move faster and making those decisions, what's the sort of business impact that you hope for, that you anticipate to see?
Today, the new generation, they want to be in a place where they feel they are empowered to make decisions. They want to be in a place, regardless size, regardless name, they want to be in a company that embraces the fact that we have responsibilities, that we can make decisions, and that we can move fast. We don't want bureaucracy, too many layers, too much time spent on deciding. Why? Because also we are faced with external change and many rapid decisions that are happening around us non-stop. So I believe that enabling digitalization will enable everybody, and Nestle in MENA and across the world, to have the sense of, I know what I am doing, I have facts, that's my decision, that's my responsibility, and we move forward. Clearly within a framework. And hence, today you will see that many of the processes that are there needs to be adjusted, adapted. The mindset in leadership and across the region needs to embrace this and understand that it will be different, but it's for the better, it's for the good, and this will position us also ahead of the curve of all the change that is happening.
Yeah, I know, I couldn't agree more. So you spoke a little bit about sort of the change in the people that you'll be bringing into the organization and being able to, really attract and ideally retain younger talent, right, within the company and younger people. What are some of the key sort of skill sets or attributes that you're really looking for as you think about driving this digital transformation? It requires a change in mindset. It requires a change in behavior and skills. What are some of the key behaviors and skills that you're really looking for?
The behaviors we're trying to drive now internally together is that we drive change. We say things as they are. We take responsibility, and we are externally centric. If you have this, skills are things that we will develop together. The skill sets are something that we will continue to upskill and work on, making sure everybody is ready for what's coming. That's our responsibility. I think what we are really looking for are people that have this eagerness to be part of this change journey, that really want to have this work in a multinational, that where we still feel we are entrepreneurs in the way we do things. We take calculated risks. We are there to win together. We are there also to drive this amazing purpose that we have as a company. So, all in all, I think that's what we're really looking for. Because sometimes when you talk about particularly digitalization, it might sound like, but I need to know a lot more. No, you don't need. You just need to be you. And if you are curious enough, if you challenge status quo, if you want to drive change, that's your place to be. If you want to win and be a part of a big transformation, that's where you want to be. And I really encourage everyone to give it a try.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we're coming to the end of our time together, so thank you so much for your answers and honestly for your transparency also about the change that you're driving and your ambition for Nestle and MENA and more broadly also your ambition within your career. Maybe if you could leave our listeners with 1 to 2 sort of key takeaways, things to really remember from this conversation and from the change that you're trying to drive in MENA, what would those be? What would 1 to 2 sort of key takeaways be?
Yeah, number one, thank you very much for our discussion. I want to leave our audience with the fact that Nestle is a fascinating company. Global opportunities. Our brands are leading in almost every category we operate in. We are marketeers. We have top quality products that we offer. And above all, we come to work every day to unlock the power of food for everyone, people and pets. We drive sustainability, which is also at the heart of what we will be doing. So it's an amazing company. Number 2, we are not only acknowledging the fact that the future requires us to change. On the contrary, we also think that whether it is needed or not, we want to change because we want to be ahead of the curve. We want to continue to be the company that offers top quality products for consumers across the region and across the world. And I believe also that it's fascinating that in Nestle there is a lot of freedom within framework, which is also very important for our youngster colleagues to know that this is where also you acquire a lot of experience. You have the opportunity to add value
Yeah.
beyond any words that I can express. And last but not the least, I mean, the transformation we are doing around digitalization as a group and as a region is fascinating. And, you know, we don't always have such opportunities to be part of such a major transformation.
Yeah.
So I invite everybody to give it a try.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for those wonderful pieces of advice and the takeaways for our audience. And thank you for being here today. It was a wonderful conversation.
Thank you, Abby. It's great talking to you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, find out more at nestlevel.vfairs.com and let us know what you think from the survey link in the description. Your feedback matters to us to improve our future content.